Hello guys! Today we're going to be explaining another new K-drama, which is going to be called Agent Kim Reactivated. At the start of the episode, we see our main hero, named Kim, heading home from the office. Up ahead, we see a car with a thug sitting inside, smoking, who deliberately flicks his cigarette onto Kim. Kim glances at it for a moment, says nothing, and keeps walking. He's almost at his house, but we see the thug speeding off in his car. And the side mirror ends up hitting Kim. Near Kim's house, there's a laundromat owner named Mr. Lim, who witnesses the whole thing. The thug gets out of the car and starts talking to Kim. Kim says, "I'm fine, just go." But the thug says, "Don't you know that when something like this happens, you're supposed to say sorry?" Kim eventually apologizes, but the thug doesn't stop there. He punches Kim hard, knocking him down, then drives off. All of this gets caught on camera. The next morning, we see Kim asleep. His alarm goes off and he gets up, makes breakfast for his daughter, and then fusses over her school clothes. He goes to the door and keeps calling out to Miji that breakfast is ready, and to hurry up. Miji says, "Why do you keep bothering me? You're such a... on me. Always nagging at me to come outside." Kim just smiles and brushes it off. Later, he's filling out an emergency contact form for her school, and says, "Give me the number of someone close to you." Miji says her name is Ha-young, and gives him the number. Miji heads outside to catch her bus, but Mr. Lim starts talking to her. He was about to bring up what happened with her father yesterday, asking if he's okay, but then changes the subject and says, "Look at your clothes. If you want, I can take them to the laundromat." She refuses. Her bus arrives shortly after, and she leaves. A little while later, we see Kim step outside his house. Lim comes up to him and asks, "Are you okay? That thug hit you yesterday. Look at your clothes. Come on, let me wash them. Come by my laundromat." But Kim turns him down and walks off. Lim watches him leave and says, "Like father, like daughter." We then see Miji on her bus, looking at a boy named Nam. It seems she might have a crush on him. Suddenly, a cyclist cuts in front of the bus and it brakes hard. Miji is about to fall, but Nam catches her in time. Afterward, back in her seat, back down and starts noticing him. He also glances at her for a moment. On the other side, we see Kim. We learn he works at a bank. He discovers that a credit card was misused, likely by Hak-soo, his boss. He later confronts Hak-soo about the money, telling him, "That day was your anniversary, but because of you, this much money got spent." Hak-soo brushes it off, saying, "Let it go. Sometimes rules need to be broken. Just think of it as money spent on the bank's hospitality." Kim accepts this and goes back to his desk. He remembers that his daughter's birthday is coming up and wants to buy her something, self-defense items, and starts searching for them. His colleague Sang catches him doing this and jokingly asks, "Why do you want this? Are you planning to use it on Hak-soo?" Kim denies it and says it's for his daughter, since her birthday is coming soon. Sang says, "If your daughter doesn't want this kind of thing, what will you do? You should ask her first." Kim replies that she doesn't talk to him much, and things would have been better if her mother were still around. Sang says, "Okay, I'll help you. After work, let's go to the department store. I'll wait for you." We then see Miji, who is in her class. Ha-young comes up to her and says, "I need your gym clothes." Miji gives them to her. Later, two girls come up to Miji and start insulting her, saying she smells and throw her things on the floor. Miji doesn't say anything. Afterward, the same girls go up to Ha-young and start complimenting her expensive things. Ha-young notices someone staring at her and asks, "What are you looking at?" But the person doesn't respond. Just then, Nam comes up to Ha-young and says, "I want to talk to you," and takes her outside. A little later, we see Miji in the restroom, but Ha-young's friend is there too and starts insulting her. Miji says, "I don't smell. You're the one who smells like smoke." The girl tries to hit her, but Ha-young walks in and says, "Leave it. She's pathetic." Miji asks, "Why am I pathetic?" Ha-young replies, "Because you smell." We then see Kim coming out of the bank, where Sang is waiting for him and asks him to come to the store. Kim initially refuses. Sang says, "Fine, your choice." But then he says, "Okay, I'll come too." In the next scene, they arrive at the store, where Sang wants to buy a nice gift for his daughter, and Kim manages to get it, but it requires a pre-order. They're already standing in line. Sang says, I've sent you the screenshot. Show it when it's your turn and you'll get the gift. But Kim checks his phone and says, where would I even get a screenshot from? When his turn comes, he doesn't have the screenshot. Sang steps in and helps him out. It turns out to be a t-shirt. Kim notices it's very expensive and says, I want a refund. But Sang talks him out of it, saying, you can't do that. Imagine your daughter asks you, what have you ever done for me? What would you say? But if you have this expensive t-shirt, you can say, I bought this for you. Kim gets convinced by this and buys it. That night, he comes home and first puts the gift away in a drawer. He then sees Miji washing her own clothes. He says, I can do that myself. But Miji replies, when you do it, they end up smelling. From now on, I'll handle the laundry myself. At night, she's looking at Hayoung's profile on her phone, checking out her photos. She then checks Nam's profile too, but accidentally likes one of his photos. She quickly tries to unlike it, but it doesn't happen. She then comes out and sees her father asleep on the sofa. She wakes him up and tells him to go to his room. He says, I haven't washed the dishes. I want to wash them. But his daughter says, wash them in the morning. Go to sleep now. The next morning, we see Kim. His alarm goes off. He wakes up and comes to the kitchen, where he finds that his daughter washed the dishes for the first time. He decides he'll cook her favorite meal today. On the other side, we see Nam at school playing volleyball. Miji checks her locker for her gym clothes, but they're not there. Just then, Hayoung and her friend walk by, smiling and leave. Miji doesn't understand what's going on. She goes up to Ray and asks, where are my gym clothes? Ray says, I put them on your seat. Later, she finds out that Hayoung and her friends threw them in the trash bin. Still, she shows up to gym class in her regular dirty clothes. Nam is right there and notices her. He offers his jacket and says, you can use this. She wears it into the gym, but the coach notices she's wearing Nam's jacket. Hayoung is nearby, watching all of this. In the next scene, we see Hak-soo, who's at his academy, teaching kids taekwondo. We then meet another character named Jun Cheol, who helps people around here, and feels really happy doing it. He then goes to his secret spot and starts playing a game. Sometime later, Han-soo shows up there and sees that Jun Chol is inside. He knocks on the door, but it's no use since Jun Chol is completely absorbed in his game. Han-soo kicks the door open and walks in. Jun Chol yells at him, what is this? Did you break my door? How could you do that? Han-soo says, stop your nonsense game and let's go. Jun Chol asks, where are we going? Han-soo says, have you forgotten we meet once a year, and today's the day? Jun Chol replies, I really did forget. I guess I'm getting old. In the next scene, the two of them are at a restaurant, along with Kim, who's their friend. They start talking about their kids. Jun Chol shows a photo and says, look, this is my daughter. Whenever I miss her, I look at this. Han-soo also chimes in, saying, my son is really stubborn. I don't know who he takes after. Kim says, it's about time for me. Miji must be home by now. I should head there. But they say, come on, stay a little longer. A bit, your daughter's grown up now. Stop worrying about her so much. She might even have a boyfriend soon. We then see the same thug from before, who's there harassing a man. He then notices Jun Cheol looking at him. The thug shouts, what are you looking at? Jun Cheol wants to hit him, but Han-soo stops him, saying, let it go. We can't do that anymore. Kim tells the two of them, let's go. Jun Cheol starts to leave, but the thug provokes him further, throwing food at him. He then starts making crude comments about the photo of Jun Cheol's daughter on his t-shirt. Jun Cheol loses his temper and hits him. The thug's friends jump in, and a fight breaks out. Kim, however, doesn't do anything and walks away. The police show up and restrain Jun Cheol. The next morning, we see Kim setting out Miji's clothes. He notices Nam's jacket, which has Nam's name on it, and asks, who is this? Miji grabs the jacket and rushes off to school. Kim wonders to himself, is he really her boyfriend? Miji arrives at school, wanting to return the jacket to Nam, but he's not in class. She goes outside and sits down, but then Nam-hoon comes up to her and takes the jacket, saying, you can just leave it on my seat. On my seat. But Miji says, I just wanted to say thank you. He then asks, did you like my photo? She denies it, saying, I'm not on social media. Just then, Nam-hoon sends her a random message, and it actually reaches her. Miji gets flustered and doesn't say anything, Behind them, we see Hayoung and her friend watching all of this. In the next scene, Miji comes to class, but two girls approach her and say, Hayoung wants to meet you. They take her to the storage room, where Hayoung asks, what were you doing with my boyfriend? Miji says, there's nothing going on between us. I just had to return his jacket. Hayoung says, you could have worn your own jacket. Miji replies, how could I? When you threw it in the trash. Hayoung punishes her for this and kicks her, saying, I'm not upset that you were with my boyfriend. I'm upset that your smell might rub off onto him because of you. She then tells her, you smell like a motherless child. Miji loses control of herself and kicks her back. The two other girls try to break it up but can't manage it. On the other side, we see Kim at the bank, but the teacher calls him and tells him what his daughter did at school, that she attacked Hayoung, and that Hayoung is the daughter of Gang-chan, the chairman of Jua Construction. He's told to come quickly. We then see Gang-chan, who's in a meeting with Assemblyman Shim from the party, discussing some redevelopment project. Shim says, don't worry, I'll do exactly what you've asked. Gang-chan steps outside, where his right-hand man, Nam, tells him his wife is calling. Gang-chan takes the call. His wife tells him what happened at school and asks him to come quickly. In the next scene, we meet a man called Golden Teeth, who's getting himself ready and shows up there. But Nam comes out and stops him. The man says, you told me to come meet you. Nam replies, yes, I know, but the plan's changed now. Go, we'll call you later. The man says, am I your lapdog or something? Nam just watches him. He ends up having to leave anyway. We move to the school, where everyone is waiting for Kim. Hayoung's mother gets angry and says, why should we wait for him? Just then, Kim arrives. But Miji doesn't stay quiet. She tells the truth, saying, do you know what happened? These girls have been bothering me for days. I somehow managed to control myself so far. But how long could I keep doing that? That's why I raised my hand against her. But Kim doesn't listen to his daughter. He gets down on his knees and tells Gang-chan, please forgive her. She doesn't have a mother. I've raised her, and maybe I haven't done it right. I'll try harder from now on. I'll get her transferred out of here. Gang-chan comes closer and says, fine, that's exactly what you should do. Gang-chan steps outside and watches Kim leaving with Miji and asks the teacher, who is that? The teacher says, he's just a simple employee who works at a bank. Don't worry, nothing like this will happen here again. Gang-chan says, fine, but if it does, just watch. You and your whole school will disappear from here. Miji says to her father, don't you believe in me? I only have you. You're all I have. You should believe in me. It wasn't my fault. Why did you get down on your knees in front of them? Was it because of that? Because Hayoung's father is a powerful man with a lot of connections. Why don't you have any? You're just a lowly employee. I'm sleeping at Ray's house tonight, don't call me. If you do, I'll leave home for good. She starts to leave, but he says, tomorrow's your birthday. She replies, I hate my birthday, because my mother died. In the next scene, Kim visits her memorial site and looks at his wife, recalling a memory from the past. The two of them at a flower shop, where Yejin tells him this flower is her favorite, called a hyacinth, and that it has a hidden meaning, love and devotion. That night, Kim comes home but finds that his daughter hasn't shown up. On the other side, we see Miji at the market when Nam messages her, saying, I want to meet you. Come to the back gate of the school. I'll wait for you. Back to Kim. It turns midnight, and he's prepared a cake. He wants to call his daughter, but remembers she told him not to call, or she'd leave home for good. He sits up all night like this, and it turns 7 a.m. He calls Ray and asks, Is my daughter with you? She says no, that Miji never came to her. He goes to the school and asks the kids, but Miji isn't there either. He then spots Nam and says, I know you know her. Where could she be? Nam says, I'm sorry, I didn't send that message. A thug approached me, took my phone, and told Miji to come there. I only overheard something about the back gate of the school. Here. Now we see Kim arriving behind the school, where he finds several bloodstains. He follows them and finds a hairband lying there. He remembers it belongs to Hyung. In the next scene, it starts raining and Hyung arrives with a thug. The thug says, "Don't worry, no evidence will be found here. Even the weather's on our side. It started raining, all the evidence is washed away." Her father can't do anything either, since he's just a simple employee. If a police report had been filed, they'd already be here. But look, there's no police around. Just then, Kim comes up behind them and says, "I'm Miji's father." The thug claims they don't know Miji or where she is, and they start to leave. But Kim says, "I never even asked you where Miji is," and shows Hyung the hairband saying, "This is yours, isn't it?" He approaches the thug and says, "What do you want? Get out of here. Do you want to die?" The thug tries to punch him, but it doesn't affect Kim at all. The thug shouts, "Are you some kind of special or something? Even if you are, fight me," and rips Kim's shirt, revealing several scars underneath. We then cut to a flashback scene where Kim is holding a gun to some powerful man and saying, "Let me go, I want to be discharged." There are several more scenes here, and we learn that Kim was previously a detective who worked as a spy in North Korea. Since he also worked in South Korea, he effectively operated as a double agent multiple times. It's mentioned that he completed 17 operations in North Korea. If he were to be discharged, it would create a massive crisis. If North Korea found out he's still alive, there's no telling what might happen next. Back to the present scene, Kim fights the thug, landing several punches and knocking him down. He then grabs him and demands, "Where is Miji?" And with that, the episode ends. So guys, let me know in the comments how you liked the first episode. We'll see you in episode 2. Until then, bye.